Sure, big up yourself. Just I go in there and show you, see me? Hold on there. Turn on the box, yeah. Welcome. Thank you guys for hitting the like button, yeah? I appreciate it.
With the current resignation of JLP Member of Parliament Everett Warmington and the dismissal of PNP caretaker Dennis Meadows, we take an in-depth look at political leadership and what are the standards. National Integrity Action's Principal Director and Attorney...
Alright, pause. Right, that's when I'm going to start it. I understand. Hold on there. So hit the like button, guys. Thank you guys for coming. I'm not even share live, so I'm going to share live for me now. I'm asking you guys to share the live for me. Any of my people that is here that is in the group, share the live in the group here, please. I'm gonna hold on there again. Am I back? Am I clear? Only for things you have to talk about today, though. Yeah, man, only for things you have to talk about. It's gonna be one marathon in idea. May I try to go through as fast as possible. So let me go here. How you guys doing? How is the day going? How is everything? Hope all is well with you and your family. For those who are affected by the rains, hey, try to stay as safe and warm as possible. You understand? Yeah. Alright. Yo, remember some live, yeah? You know, your conversation go wrong for your life. Just remember, I tell you what you say, but I say, remember some live. No want a problem. Next thing I go here, sir. Anyway. Alright, we're back here now. We're live and up on that. Alright, so we can start now. Alright.
Law, Daniel Archer joins us for that discussion. Good morning.
Good morning, nice lady. Good morning, sir. I'm Mr. Neville, let me call you. Good morning, Mr. Neville.
Nice, imitate the nice gentleman.
Nice gentleman.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right, morning, nice gentleman.
You good?
Grateful as always.
Good to see
Thanks
you.
for having me.
It's obviously good news that the leaders jumped in and stopped what was happening. But are you surprised? Because Mr. Warmington been going on and on and on and on.
Well, you have this rap sheeting and law, you call it the antecedents.
Yeah.
So the antecedents go all the way back to 2011.
Yeah. So
Everything
are you
has its
surprised
time.
that they jumped like this one?
Surprised and pleased. Surprised and I'm at the point where I think our society is at that point where you get to say enough is enough. You've gotten sufficient chances, and I think the last year, at least since I've been principal director, there were more than a handful of occasions where you've had to say, what are you saying? And somebody said, I'm sorry. And if you have a child, and every time the child is something, them say, sorry, mommy, what you do then? There comes a point where you have to give them a consequence, and I think that's where the Jamaican society is. We're tired of hearing the apologies without seeing the resultant change in behavior.
One of the things for me, Daniel, is how do we fix the campaign culture? Because I feel like prior to social media, a lot of these pronouncements were done on the campaign trail. A lot of these were part of the electioneering that the masses wanted to hear. Yes, but it never made it to mass media because there was no... Is it time then for... So it's a culture, it's a mindset, it's okay to do it here. Is it time then for a culture shift to happen with our...
Certainly, and I think that's going to happen. And don't let us think that it's just Jamaica, you know. Because if you watch politics right across the globe, things are said on the platform that incite people, whether it's racial or otherwise. Where we are in Jamaica is that because we're now seeing it, everyone is hearing it. You and I would not have gone out onto the campaign trail to hear Mr. Meadows, but it comes out on social media. What was so riveting about what Mr. Meadows said, though, was the legal and criminal consequences. I don't know if any of you saw Jamaica making its debut on American Greed because of scamming. So if it's such an issue that it's being focused internationally, it becomes a greater issue when you have an aspiring member of parliament saying it's okay. And now we now have to become more accountable. So this it's a magic word now. Everybody's saying accountability. But accountability without action is just words.
Yeah. Do we do enough checks and balances. I was talking to one of our brethren and I said some of our politicians, no disrespect, but were it in other jurisdiction, couldn't get a vote from anybody because, say, let's use the United States for whatever reason. I mean, them do so much check before you can end up being...
Top. But if you raise my eyebrow one more time, the United States with Mr. Trump and the things that have been said, let's be real. There are other jurisdictions that the same thing happens. Where I think we want to go, and if it's possible, so this is where I become the idealist, as you know me as Delia, we need to craft what we want. Stop looking to foreign and craft what we want. What's the standard that we want?
And I accept that, but the point of my question was, I understand that Delia is going to run for an office position. We don't check out if Delia used to kill people.
I take your point. I raised on that. So in other words, there's no investigation as to where you're coming from, what's in your background. So layman term, a background check to see if you're suitably qualified.
Enough of that? So when Napoleon Clive said, no, this is the man, he is a decent youth to check.
Is that what we want though? Is that what we want though? Because we do have people who currently have been elected councillors who have charges. We do have in Parliament questions surrounding at least 6 members of Parliament. So it would not just be for the councillors. It would mean that the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party and any other party coming up would have to have that desire to ensure that their candidates, top to bottom, are persons who, the term I'd like to introduce and to continue to use, are of unquestionable
That's integrity. My question though. Do we do it?
So that have to do with leadership, you know. This was a year ago, guys, but it's still relevant. Listen to this.
For that to ensure that
do we want to do that? Because that now requires the political parties themselves to become responsible for their own membership and leadership.
You know that woman, Daniel?
But where you want that, but do they want that? You and I sitting here this morning are going to say that to the rest of the people, are going to say when the bread and butter issues, who have the money for running election? Let's be real. And that is why when we talk about campaign financing, we focus on what? National elections. There's no campaign financing for local government elections. Nobody knows where the money is coming from. Are we reasonably, as a people, and this is where we as a people now desire and demand that there's legislation that says, look here, there are certain principles that you must have, which is why NIA has consistently said, look for a code of conduct that have those 7 principles and make sure that when you institute this code of conduct, you have consequences. If we have the code of conduct and it's legislated, we have these 7 principles that we're saying are things that you must abide by: selfishness, integrity, openness, honesty. These are things that we're saying we're holding you to, and we have consequences, which mean you step aside. Then we come to the point where you say, that's what we want. The second thing I think we need to have this conversation about never when we say politicians are under the spotlight. How do you remove them? We have to make up 9.
Hey, you see that code of conduct they were shut about? No Nigerian people don't sign, you know, not even Prime Minister.
I said, brother,
Ryan Campbell, what up, man?
That the behavior there is unbecoming. Me know my nephew or my son to behave like that. What about a recall? We talk about constitutional reform in a big way. It's like, you want a big meal, but sometimes one sandwich can help you. And the sandwich here would be to say, let us put in something like recall, where when you have a situation like Mr. Warmington, or God forbid you had another member of parliament who had endorsed scamming, you recall them and the people can vote on it and say, we don't want you again because you do not uphold our values. But so
I agree with that 100%. It doesn't matter what side. Them need for the recalls. I agree with that.
That's the missing link for me, Daniel. That's why I said culture. Do our people understand our responsibility? Because to be fair to Mr. Warmington, when you go down to his constituency and you ask them how is he as a member of parliament, they say he is perfect. He's good for us. He does everything for us. And I've been to and I've watched on TV, people out there talking about fiscal policy, and the crowd look on them, so.
But we don't understand.
And then when them say, but them fig where? And then the crowd say, hey. So do we as a people feed that kind of behavior?
What you say? Feed?
Yeah.
We do. So let's start having a conversation. We have several hurdles. What's the society promoting?
Right.
Scamming is important, because scamming is opening a window for us to understand that when our youth are seeing sudden and instant transformation, they can't wait 4 years to go to law school, pay back student loan, and then come out turn lawyer and still can't get no work and have the bills and to pay. Instead, they said that take too long. What they have on their mind is an instantaneous gratification that we have encouraged.
How?
How have we encouraged? Let's look at music. Let's look at how we encourage people that we must have a big car in our driveway. You have to work it. You can't get it, man. It no matter how you get it. Our mindset as a people, say no matter how you get it, so long as you get it.
But you are not going to allow your son or daughter into that.
No.
So it don't matter what them
but then remember, we are a microcosm. So we're going to talk about all these social things. So my son and my daughter, my niece and my nephew go to school. And whilst I may be able to, or they may have the social fabrication to hold them and say, no man, this is not the right thing to do, you do have to recognize, Neville, that we're talking about economic opportunities. What people mention as elementary jobs, I hate to hear the word, sorry, but it's elementary jobs. So even if you wipe a windscreen, you're considered employed because you work 3 times a week. What we need to have is that conversation. You remember when we were growing up, it comes right back to the social culture that we have. What were we taught? How were we taught it? What are the values? Yes, the values and attitudes have had a political connotation. But if we really want to look at our leaders, we must also look at ourselves.
Incredible. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Clara.
Yeah.
We're always with that, man.
Excellent.
Always.
There's an African proverb that says the ruin of a nation begins in the homes of its people. I've always thought that is parenting.
It's true. It's there. We can't pretend.
Yeah, I've always thought that parenting will make a difference. I had to tell them kids, Mama, I couldn't tell her going next door, I had to say, can I go next door?
True that.
And she would say, well, it's 4 o'clock now, be back by 5. And if I'm not back by 5, she come in.
Come out for next 3 months.
See himself.
In my pyjama.
See himself. Where you going? Where you going?
Yeah. But I still think there is enough good in this country to overcome much.
Oh, certainly. And I think that's where we are. I think all the events of last week really said to us that we are at that point where we're standing up now and defining what it is that we want from leadership and what we want for ourselves.
God bless you and your family.
Same to you.
National Integrity Action's Principal Director and Attorney at Law, Daniel Archer.
Coming up, is the constitutional reform falling apart? That's after the break.
Miserable pride, my love you, miss it.
Oh my gosh. Them wake up, Clyde. Oh my
love you, miss it.
Them wake up, Daniel. Wake up, Clyde.
They're not giving for that one. You can't keep that company,
Alright, so we just do one for run that little interview that was like a year ago. That was like a year ago. Excuse me. My bad. I'm gonna flip this camera. I'm gonna do some reading in us, so. I'm not gonna just leave you guys looking at the screen. Plus me in a black, so you can still see the comments. I'm on TikTok. Alright? Yeah, I'm gonna do some reading. Oh, before I do the reading, you guys remember this?
Clear that so far, none.
You guys remember this?
And welcome back to Primetime News.
Special welcome to those of you watching on onespotmedia.com.
Up first this evening, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has declared that so far, none of the government parliamentarians he has spoken to is being investigated for illicit enrichment.
Pressure is mounting for all parliamentarians to declare if they are being investigated for the crime by the Integrity Commission.
Opposition parliamentarians have indicated that the commission has not told any of them they're being probed for illicit enrichment.
But the Prime Minister has described the move by opposition members as political gimmickry. The Integrity Commission has indicated that 6 parliamentarians are under investigation for illicit enrichment. Illicit enrichment has to do with the public servants not being able to explain how they own assets which exceed their lawful earnings. So, which government parliamentarians got letters from the Integrity Commission stating they are being investigated for the crime?
My straight answer is that I have asked as far and as wide. I have gotten that response from everyone, but as far as I have been told, no. People have been written to, as the Integrity Commission does almost daily. But I have not heard of anyone in my political party being written to for this matter of illicit enrichment.
Now, opposition parliamentarians have declared individually and collectively that they have not received letters from the Integrity Commission in relation to illicit enrichment. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has taken note.
Who genuinely can say that they are telling the truth? Really? I could have asked and someone could say, no, I haven't been written to. Because they may have not got the letter. The letter may have been sent somewhere and then they will come to me afterwards and say, you know, I didn't get the letter. In other words, this process is just political gimmickry that the opposition is doing.
At Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing, the information minister said cabinet has basically placed a gag order on government lawmakers, preventing them from making comments about matters relating to the Integrity Commission. Mr. Holness says it's part of the framework to protect due process, as the Integrity Commission, by its mandate, will always be investigating public officials.
There are those who believe that the gag clause should be listed, and each time an investigation is going to be launched or any action that the Integrity Commission is going to do, it should bring it to the public domain, or if questions are asked, they should answer them. The danger with that is that it can, one, affect very sensitive investigations that would require that persons are not alerted to it. It could affect how the Integrity Commission does its work, and it could influence public officials and other persons who are involved in how they respond to the Integrity Commission. It could influence cooperation.
He adds that there is good logic to the gag clause on the Integrity Commission.
Now, what happens to someone who is being investigated, for which the investigations turn out to be spurious, or there are no basis for that? Is there a way to repair the damage done to that person? When the investigations are at a point of maturity, are at a point where they are going to be brought into a public court, then by all means, that should be disclosed.
Mr. Holness was speaking to journalists following a tour in Northern Clarendon on Thursday.
Man. Boy, I'm telling you, boy, hey, when you go back and you listen to that and you know what you know now, this dude is different, bro. Man, oh man. Woo! Anyway, let's go to the IC, right? So the IC had a report they put out yesterday, the 14th. Healthy week, big up yourself as well, you know what I mean? It says, Integrity Commission response to letter dated April 11 from government leads in the House of Parliament. The Integrity Commission wishes to inform the public that it is formally responding to a letter dated April 11, 2025, signed by Honorable Edmund Bartlett and leader of the government business in the House of Representatives, and by the Senate, the Honorable Mrs. Kamina Johnson-Smith, leader of government business in the Senate. The letter from the government parliament leaders was quoted in the media. The Commission acknowledged the importance of accountability and public trust and takes all matters relating to the integrity and ethical conduct with the utmost seriousness. The Commission Chairman, Honorable Justice Retired Carol Lawrence Beswick, has responded to the government parliamentary leaders. Her letter was formally received and signed for the Parliament at 1:21 p.m. today. In the interest of public transparency, a copy of the Chairman's letter is attached to this release. The Integrity Commission remains steadfast in its commitment to uphold the rule of law and continues to operate in full compliance with the Integrity Commission Act. Velma says, hold on the Ezidon. Velma says, Velma, you deleted the message? Oh. Velma says the Prime Minister was born to be notorious, a notorious liar. How do people really trust this man? I have no idea. I really don't. That's a very good question. I understand that the gag clause on the IC. What I don't understand is why he put a gag on the cabinet. Bingo! Esidan. Bingo! That is the problem. That is the gag that everybody that has any sense has a problem with. Why are you putting a gag on the cabinet? So cabinet members can come out and say, by process of elimination, say, well, I'm not being investigated for illicit enrichment. And then you see 20 more persons say, well, I'm not being investigated for illicit enrichment. What that would do is put them on the record to say whether or not they're being investigated. So if later on down the line, they are being investigated and we found out that they were when they said they weren't, we would know that they would be lying. You check? You feel me? So that is it, my brother. The gag on the cabinet is what we don't understand. We understand the IC. The IC cannot talk about the investigation. All of that, cool, until the report is sent to Parliament where it's now public and everybody can talk about it. Whatever you sip on the paper. You understand? So that's it. That's it, my brother. That's the real issue right there. You see me? Well said. All right, let's move on now to the next part of the letter. Marshall, thanks for the follow. Let me see. So this is page 1. Okay. It says here, reply to dated letter. I acknowledge receipt of your email and letter to me dated April 11th, in which you indicated particular and serious concerns held by your government colleagues, and in which you request my urgent intervention for a prompt and thorough interrogation of the concerns which you detailed. It says here, I am certainly amenable to addressing the concerns which you have sent for the Integrity Commission attention insofar as the Integrity Commission Act follows. In short, they concern the perceived, alleged, and or actual bias of the Commission's acting director of corruption prosecution, Renif Lawrence, and the alleged unacceptable pressure being allegedly exerted on certain commission staff members to cause certain decisions to be made. You notice what she do? Appear alleged. She say, no, listen to this. President said parliamentarians have responsibility to let the public know they are being investigated. I know, right? Anyway, it says here that it says here, I am heartened by the fact that we share a belief in certain principles which you have embraced in your communication and which I regard as being fundamental to any interrogation by the Commission. These important principles were well expressed by you and I adopt them, namely, number 1, we do not for a moment question Mr. Lawrence's professional qualifications. We do not question any individual constitutional rights of association, nor do we seek to interfere in the operations of the Commission. Justice should not be done, but should be seen to be manifestly and demonstratively done. The Integrity Commission's success depends greatly on public confidence and trust, which cannot be sustained if there is a perception of bias. If there is a perception of bias or other improper conduct of its affairs. It says here, fairness, professionalism, and justice are to be allowed to prevail at the Integrity Commission and to be seen to so prevail. We trust that truth and justice will prevail. So, it's interesting. What's this? Beverly Lawrence, big up yourself. Gag government. So that is the first part. No, these are very interesting. Let me read that. Let me look at that again. These are principles were well expressed by you in, and I adopt them. Namely, so she named out 7 principles that they adopt. Andrew knows he's guilty, and that's the reason for the gag order. The cabinet also knows that he's guilty, and he has ripped off the country big time and now wants to thief via shortcut to remain. These are the words of Velma Hall, and she has a right to her opinion. The commission made a referral to the prosecutor for the PM to be charged. She declined, hence removed. Yeah, pretty much. There was too much evidence for him not to be charged. But anyway, we are therefore agreed that any such interrogation would have to be conducted as fairly, impartially, and transparently as is possible. Justice would no doubt have been done, not only in the eyes of the parliamentarians, but also in the eyes of the persons against whom complaint or allegations is being made. A primary component of a careful conduct interrogation is relevant, cogent evidence. This was something I read in the paper. How you doing, Odin? This was something I read in the paper. What the director of the Integrity Commission is saying, if you don't have clear and concise evidence of your allegation towards Mr. Ronif Lawrence, then what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to fire him because he's associated to Mr. What's his name? Dr. Dayton Campbell, because they were friends since high school. That goes against his constitutional right to association. And she's saying in the principles that he's more than qualified, and they do trust his qualification. They do have faith in his integrity. He has not shown them anything else. So what are we talking about here? What does the JLP want them to do further? But let's continue. It says, the first concern to which you refer in the communication regarding Mr. Lawrence's appointment as acting director of corruption prosecution of the Integrity Commission. Please, this is very fine, guys. I literally have to blow it up. Somebody said, what am I saying? Paul is supposed to address that issue as the leader of the opposition business parliament. He refused while the government applied pressure. Paul will give the okay for Juliet Orders to become Speaker of the House. A corrupt and dangerous move. Hey, somebody don't like Paul well, man. God damn. I just got that message. Sheesh. Marlon Morgan gets dark on the IC. What? What was this?
The matters surrounding the Integrity Commission again, we have with us member of the JLP's Communication Task Force. And
I'm not even going to give that dude no airplay, bro. Ain't no way, man. Man, forget that dude, man. Get the hell out of here. I don't want to hear nothing from them people. Anyway, I might play it later on down there. Leprechaun, what up? Hey, listen, I still got my one eye open on her, bro. She on a -1 for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not certain. I don't like her background. You know, who she associated with. It's kind of deep. Over the years, her husband is like deep in the JLP. So I don't know. But let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay for me because I'm in the public, so I don't affect nothing. That's just my opinion. Anyway, it says here that his possible permanent appointment to the post. Oh, they were concerned about his permanent appointment to the post. You provide that one of the basis for the concern, a social media post on January 26th this year by Dr. Dayton Campbell, which is being widely circulated and describing Mr. Lawrence as his friend over 20 years. you conclude bias on your belief in the accuracy of that social media post, that any decision taken by Mr. Lawrence in respect to members of the political fraternity will certainly be open to question. In view of the fact that we agree that we do not question any individual's constitutional right of association, any question about his decision making and or suitability for filing that appointment must therefore be considered with that right in mind. So basically, what the Integrity Commission boss has done is rubbished the idea that they're putting forth, that because Dayton Campbell and Mr. Lawrence have been friends for 20 plus years, that means his decision making is going to be severely compromised because of that. There's no evidence of that. They don't have to show evidence. Alright? And you have to keep in mind, you cannot violate the man's constitutional rights of association. Right? Big up yourself, Beverly. How you doing, Kimon Green? No, hey, trust me. I have a question if them absence each and every day. But let's continue. It says here, indeed, any decision taken by the Commission should be open to question by the public, including political parties, as to the manner in and the basis on which the decision was taken. A complete answer should be provided as far as the Integrity Commission Act allows. No doubt your parliamentary colleagues will recall that it was your good self who placed certain restrictions on what can lawfully be revealed by the Commission, stating at Section 56 of the Integrity Commission Act that a person concerned in the administration of this act. So therefore, the act itself guides the individual that is a member of the Integrity Commission, where they have to follow those rules. If they don't follow those rules, they more than likely could face prison time. So that's what she said. She said, shall regard and deal with as secret and confidential all information, statutory declaration, government contracts, prescribed licenses, and all other matters relating to any matter before the Commission. Alright? The Commission is mindful of the fact, it's fine, man. The Commission is mindful of the fact that its decisions are open to scrutiny and thus operates under the policy that any conflict of interest are declared, and what they exist, the employee refuses him or herself, and thereafter has nothing to do with that particular matter. Oh, so they would recuse themselves, okay. Another bias for concern about Mr. Lawrence's appointment to the post in question rests on what you describe as public record, that in late 2024, Dr. Campbell used political platform to make a particular comment about a case which it subsequently came to public attention was being considered for pursuit by the Integrity Commission. No doubt you will readily understand that your description above lacks sufficient detail to allow me to determine what you speak. Sashi, what's up, Sashi? How you doing, beautiful? Hey, what's up? Big up yourself, baby. Oh man, yo, that is so funny. It lacks detail, so it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You feel me? Hey man, this lady's rubbing off on me, man. Hold on. I note your next concern is about the media reports, which suggest that the contract of former director of corruption prosecution was not renewed in the circumstance where she came under pressure to not seek renewal of her contract due to a lawful decision she made. Again, There is no reference to the particular decision that has caused your concern. So basically, them don't have no basis. They don't have any basis for their argument. She's literally debunking everything that they said that they had a problem with the law and the Constitution. This is a detailed response. You get me? Anyway, moving right along. It says the questions you wish to be interrogated are specified as being whether the former corruption prosecution director in fact came under pressure due to her lawful decision, from whence did that pressure emanate, where did it come from, and the extent to which that legal pressure may have contributed to her not seeking renewal in the post despite her being widely known to be an excellent repute in the conduct of her profession to date. It is clear that the answers to these require the input of the former corruption prosecution director herself, whose 5-year statutory term of office with the commission has already ended. My attention has not been brought to any complaint or even comment made by her, either the commission or any other entity concerning the questions you asked to be interrogated. Mighty God. Mighty God. This lady is destroying Edmund Bartlett. Thank you for dissecting the Integrity Commission letter of Parliament. You're most welcome. And there's more we have to do today. All right, so it says in order for there to be fair, impartial, and transparent interrogation, there not only needs to be the specific question which you have in fact posed, but equally importantly, there must be specific cogent information from which the interrogation can be commenced. So what she's saying is cogent means there needs to be clear and specific evidence, argument put in play that align with each other for them to even start an interrogation. There needs to be a basis of the interrogation between the Integrity Commission and Ronif Lawrence. There's no basis. The argument that Kamina Johnson-Smith and Edmund Bartlett put forward in the letter is a baseless argument. You can't carry a baseless argument to court. The judge is going to run you out. All right, I'm going to come and say, just a wild accusation. Andrew Holness is a thief. Him thief bought money. The judge going to say to me, say, so where is the evidence that Andrew Holness thief bought money? Do you have any record of Andrew Holness thieving bought money? You see where I'm going with this? It don't make no sense. Them should have just shut them out and go sit down. But through them enough. Them gone born and write letter to the Integrity Commission and get embarrassed. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. But let's move on. It's there's a third part of this letter. Wow, this is a lot. God damn. I also notice your deep concern about widely circulated reports in both traditional and social media, which suggest that a senior investigator resigned from the commission after a statement she had submitted to the commission was excluded from the report submitted by the commission to the Parliament of Jamaica due to the intervention of an influential official at the commission. You say further that the report suggests that formal statements submitted by the investigator had raised serious concerns about unethical practices during the conduct of certain probe of high public interest. Here again, you suggest that this matter be subjected to inquiry by the commission, or should greater independence be inquired in the interest of justice in particular circumstances. Any other relevant agency, more particularly, you state inquiry should be made as to whether these media reports are accurate, and if so, whether the official who allegedly ensured the exclusion of the statement in question from the report to Parliament is still employed to the Commission. And indeed, whether the individual misconducted himself in public office. Unfortunately, this concern, as outlined in your communication, is bereft of sufficient details to adequately inform an inquiry. So again, there is another allegation that does not hold any weight for inquiry to be done. She is literally shutting down all of these arguments. They said the urgent intervention which you seek for prompt and thorough interrogation of the mentioned matters can only be fairly done with cogent, specific. If there's one word where this lady teach me, it's cogent. If I learned a word from the new IC chairman, it's cogent. Cogent means clear, concise, and specific. Yeah, it has to be clear. It has to be detailed. It has to be precise, specific. If that's not happening, we don't have. If the information is not clear, if you say, all right, yo, this is why we need to investigate, they're not going to investigate. At the same time, I know that I need not remind you of Section 6 of the Integrity Act, which provides in part as follows. It says, 1, in the exercise of its powers and performance of its function under this act, the Commission shall not be subjected to the direction or control of any other person or authority than the court by way of judicial review. Again, if the individuals that are claiming that the Mr. Ronif Lawrence is actually acting outside of the law, they have to prove it. They have to carry the court, prove to the court they act outside of the law with evidence, and then the Integrity Commission, based off the court's instruction, is going to do what they have to do. But if the court doesn't, the court is the only one that can instruct the Integrity Commission. Nobody, no parliamentarian can direct them. Them not answer to nobody but the court. This is the same thing that Mr. Panton said when he went into Parliament, and people was in their panties was in a bunch about it. So let us see if their panties is going to be in a bunch about it. Big up yourself, Sir G. Thanks for the follow. Let us see if their panties are going to be in a bunch about it when a woman says it. Let us see. Yo, this lady is rubbing off on me. I ain't even gonna cap. Let's continue. It says, It says, nonetheless, I hasten to add that I remain committed to open communication where the Integrity Commission is concerned, insofar as the Integrity Commission Act allows. See, that is all about the Integrity Commission Act. That's what it's all about. Nothing else. Actions of the Integrity Commission which cause you or indeed the general public concern will receive urgent attention of the Commission, provided that the Commission is given cogent and unequivocal information. Unequivocal. The word is unequivocal. So cogent and unequivocal. Let us look what unequivocal means real quickly. Unequivocal meaning.
This is the definition of unequivocal, leaving no doubt, unambiguous.
You hear that? Leaving no doubt. Cogent meaning. Cogent meaning.
Here's the definition of cogent of an argument or case. Clear, logical, and convincing.
Clear, logical, and convincing. So if you notice both words, unequivocal means there's no doubt. And it's clear. And this one is saying pretty much the same thing. It has to be logical, it has to be clear, and it has to be convincing. So what they have presented to the chairman of the IC is not clear, it's not logical, it's not convincing, and it doesn't leave out any doubt. It's questionable. Their questions are questionable. There's no evidence to suggest that, you know what I mean, the man is going to do what they're suggesting he will do, because he hasn't done anything yet. You see that? Man, listen, man. Hey, shout out to this lady, man. Shout out to this lady. Let's continue. There's some other parts of it that I haven't read yet. Whoa, wait a minute. Where are we? Actions of the integrity. Okay. Commission. Okay. Yeah, actions of the Integrity Commission, which cause you indeed the general public concern will be received. Urgent attention. Commission is giving cogent and unequivocal information on which it can rely. I look forward to the Commission working together with the members of the House of Parliament in accordance with the laws of natural justice and above all in strict compliance with the Integrity Commission Act as promulgated by your good selves, meaning say ono give it. You are the ones that tabled the Integrity Commission Act, and so we need to follow it strictly. Wagwan class prefect, we need to follow it strictly, and that is it. Crash, big up yourself, thanks for the follow. Alright, so the Integrity Commission, I love the fact that you speak with research facts. Thank you so much, my brother. That's what we do. That's what we do. You feel me? Anyway, the next thing here it says, our goal is the same. A corruption-free Jamaica. Is it though? Is it the goal of the JLP to have a corruption-free Jamaica? With a gag clause? I question that personally. Because if you want us to have a corruption-free Jamaica, there would be no gag clause. Alright, there will be no gag clause for the cabinet. I call cap on that. I'm not saying she's cap, I'm saying they are cap. Alright? But salute to the director of the Integrity Commission. Now, like how I'm on Twitter, let me go to Damian Crawford addressing the madness from Andrew Honest. Mighty God, I've done it. Ladies and gentlemen, another embarrassing moment. Embarrassing. He needs some milk. Yo, wanna pray this? Listen to this statement from Andrew Honest at this place, I think last night. I think Sunday night? Yeah.
Another one of the many lies. There is a false view that it is the PNP who started Portmore. Another one of the many lies. Another attempt at the revisionism of the PNP, trying to revise history. It was a vision of the Jamaica Labour Party and Edward Siaga to create Portmore.
JLP for Jamaica.
Watch me now. The history of the PNP and power would be analogous to you ever ride your bicycle or you drive a car and you see a dog just run out of the yard and run after the car. And when the car stops, the dog just stop and look on it. The history of the PNP and power, their power-seeking behavior, is like a dog chasing a car. And when they catch the car, they don't know what to do with it. This community was started in the 1960s.
So after 9 years in power, this man has resorted to very low insults and just lying about stuff. Everybody knows the PNP, Portmore is PNP, everything about it, the democracy, the way how it's structured, the building of it, everything was PNP. Everybody knows that. But Dr. Damian Crawford has the receipts, which I will be reading, but let's listen to this man. Lord have mercy.
The false view that it is the PNP who started Portmore. Another one of the many lies. Another attempt at the revisionism of the PNP, trying to revise history. It was a vision of the Jamaica Labour Party and Edward Siaga to create Portmore. And its origins then were simple. It was to create a housing estate, a housing scheme. And then it grew into several housing estates. And it became a dormitory community between the 1980s and the 1990s. And that community became an adjunct, meaning it was joined to Kingston because the people would live here and work in Kingston. That is why the Causeway Bridge, you remember the Causeway Bridge, was so critical to connect Portmore to Kingston. And as Portmore evolved, even the very PNP realized that Portmore needed its own local governance, that you could not depend wholly and solely on the St. Catherine municipal government to administer the unique and peculiar administrative needs of Portmore. And instead of going the full way, which it was their intention, they created a municipality, which is not quite clear because some parts of Portmore can vote for the mayor and they fall in another municipality. But the reason why they created the municipality is because Portmore started to evolve into its own community with its own economy. So instead of most people going to work in Kingston, you have a lot of people now who work and live and retire in Portmore. There is a false view that it is the PNP who started.
All right, so Damian Crawford has this to say on his Twitter. The vision of Portmore being a place for housing started with the development of a dike to prevent flooding from the Rio Cobre, the building of a causeway to connect Kingston, and the dumping of swamplands to facilitate housing. These started in 1950, not 1969. What is going on with the JLP? You know, say, when name again, Tom Tavares Finson said something in the same conference about Marcus Garvey. And when me do my fact checking, the man was so totally off. 1923, it was 1927 that Marcus Garvey was actually deported to Jamaica. He was in the States in 1923. That's when he was getting convicted. And he spent a couple of years before them deport him to Jamaica. I researched all of this yesterday on my live. Live. Me look up everything. A quick Google search, you know. What is going on? I wonder if them have, when them call it something, the dementia. Them might get old still, you know. I wonder if a dementia them have. Where you just, you miss the date them. Oh, you miss that date there. Oh, you miss this. This totally off B. 1950s. And him go 1969. The man said, believe the library. Look what the man do. Look on the screen. The man put up the information, people, which I will be reading right now. Janet, Wagwan, Janet. Miss Riley, big up yourself. See there? Damian Crawford. See there? You can go up on in Twitter post and see it for yourself. See there? Damian Crawford. The man said, believe the library. You know, say my teacher, so. The money I come with the facts. The man don't have no time for no propaganda. I saw him go to work. You see me I deal with, you don't really it's a teacher now, a facts them deal with. Opal, what's up? Listen to this. And them know so enough of them now go read, you know. And that's why them say them thing there, you know. All them people that they in front, integrity, big up, Errol, big up. All them people that they in front of them, they will never read. They will just listen to them and go, yay! And still be dunce. And make them mislead them. That's why I say you will never see me in one of them something there. But me turn up in front of them. Me listening on the TV. And then look up where them myself for myself. And then me know say, you know, say, are you thinking about that? Karen, what's up? You see me? Yeah, man, I'm frustrated, man. I mean, if you're frustrated, because where am I doing work? Anyway, majority of, this is the birth of the development of the modern Portmore. That is what it says right here on the paper. See it? History of Portmore. See it? The library. Reading is fundamental, ladies and gentlemen. Reading is fundamental. It says here, majority of the modern Portmore is built on that large coastal property called Portmore Pen. The first English owners of the property were the Dawkins family. Initially, the property was called Salt Pond Pen and was sometimes referred to as Dawkins Pen. In the second half of the 19th century, second half, 1950, second half, Zane, However, it was renamed Portmore Pen and then Portmore in honor of the ancestor of Dawkins who had married into the family of Earl of Portmore from Scotland. Oh, so I saw it named Portmore because I just said the man come from Earl of Portmore from Scotland. Okay. So it's Portmore or Portmore Pen at the time did not include areas such as Brayton, Hellshire, Port Henderson, Newland in the early 20th century, sorry. Colony Dawkins, many of his Jamaican properties, Portmore included the United Fruit Company, UFC, acquired the lands from Dawkins, but they did not fully utilize all the lands. Only the northern reaches were used, and the majority remained a grassy, muddy wasteland in the middle of the 20th century. The UFC sold the Portmore property to the Caymanes estate. Unfortunately, much like previous owners, the lands were not fully exploited. As a result, much of Portmore remained unused. Consequently, a company was formed called Portmore Land Development Company. They purchased the property from the Caymanes estate, which the intention of establish housing development in the 1950s and 60s. Kingston ran out of flat space for development, so housing development in Portmore was seen as a response to the great outcry for housing. Before development began, a dike had to be constructed to contain the Rio Cobre, and the causeway was built to connect Kingston to Portmore. The lowlands were also filled by dredging the harbor and quarrying Mari for Port Henderson Hill Reed. Once this was completed, the development of houses could begin. In 1969, under the direction of the West Indies Home Contractors, Weecon, the first housing scheme in Portmore was erected and called Independent City. The scheme consisted of approximately 1,000 to 1,200 2 or 3 bedroom houses. The next community to be constructed was Edgewater Villas. Over time, more communication development took place as Bridgeport Phase 1 and 2 were erected in 1972 and 1974, respectively. This was followed by Passage Fort in the same year and Waterford a year after in 1975. Bridgeport Phase 3 would come next in 1976, which the construction of Portsmouth and Southborough in 1978 and 1979. With the development of Portmore came a growth in its population when developers started working in the late 1960s. Okay, and it said that fewer than 2,000 persons were living in Portmore area by 1970. There was a sharp increase of about 5,000 persons in the 1980s. More schemes were constructed. Cumberland, Winchester, West Bay Phase 1 erected. What else is here? Yeah, that's it. So let's listen back to what Andrew was saying.
So that is why the cause, remember the causeway bridge? There is a false view that it is the PNP who started Portmore. Another one of the many lies. Another attempt at the revisionism of the PNP, trying to revise history. It was a vision of the Jamaica Labour Party and Edward Seaga to create Portmore.
JLP for Jamaica.
Watch me now. The history of the PNP and power would be analogous to So you ever ride your bicycle or you drive a car and you see a dog just run out of the yard and run after the car. And when the car stop, the dog just stop and look on it. The history of the PNP and power, their power-seeking behavior, is like a dog chasing a car. And when they catch the car, they don't know what to do with it. This community was started in the 1960s. There is a false view.
Lies. I just read it. Not the 1960s. Lies. Lies. It never started. A dike had to be put in place. That's when it was started. If they didn't make the dike, there wouldn't be any community. So the concept of Portmore was before the 1960s. I just read it. Lies. Lies. It's just lies. Totally debunked. Oh, let's move on. I don't even want to stress this anymore. I hope everybody on the live, anytime you hear them talk, just refer to that post there from and go Google. Because somebody say everything they on Google, so why them still tell lie? Yeah. Some people not gonna read. Some people just not gonna read. And that's a problem. Then just gonna listen to what them say and believe. They just gonna believe in lie. And that's how he keeps tricking these people. But God help them, because me can't help them, Can't tell you that right now. Me can't help them. They on their own. If they want to continue to believe lie for them business, that. But we just debunk the lie. Let's move on to another situation. Fayval. Mighty God. Fayval didn't look good enough. Is Fayval missing? Is Fayval Williams missing, ladies and gentlemen? Has there been any sighting of Fayval Williams? Because there was an appointment that she was due for, and for some strange reason, I don't know, we can't find Fayval.
Member of Parliament. And when they look at so the economy is well, while so many people have the power and they have.
No, before we go to this have to do with Fayval. So I'm going to play that part. Yeah. This have to do with Fayval. According to the Jamaica Labour Party, we are living in prosperity. So why is it that the Jamaica National Loan is about to cut off all loans? Because people are not able to pay back them loans. Like a large amount of people are not paying back their loans. It's just them that want to pay back their loan or they don't have the money. So where's prosperity there? Where's the prosperity in Jamaica when people cannot pay back their loans? Huh? Can somebody answer me that? You see, if the math is not mathing of, like, your numbers no lie. Everything is coming forth. All of the evidence. Everything that we have been saying since last year and what other people have been saying before that. When name Ralston Hyman have been screaming at the top of the mountain. We are in trouble economically. From 2023 December, he has been screaming it. If we don't start to grow the economy, we are going to be in trouble. The man has been saying the interest rates that the banks have been giving to people when they borrow money, it needs to come down. And the government needs to force them to do it. He has been saying it. He has been saying it since last year. Not last year, 2023 December. Here we are, 2025, April the 15th. And let's listen to this. Unfreaking believable. The man does not listen, brother. The man does not do their own thing. You understand? And I lie to you people in Jamaica. And the die-hearted people in us, they take you like them and idiot. And now read for themselves. Damn shame.
It was from 2013 to 2024. But the weight of this, according to the Bank of Jamaica,
here we go.
Jamaica. Families and companies shoulder financial burden after heavy borrowing.
Julie, big up.
A decade of rising household and corporate borrowing has left many Jamaican financial system exposed to destabilizing shocks.
A decade, over the last 10 years, So this is the entire administration life shelf, you know. We're talking about, you know, the people them can't pay back them loan. And it is going to cripple some of the economic establishment them, the banking establishment them. Listen, we'll play it back. Listen.
Financial burden after heavy borrowing. Here is this. A decade of rising household and corporate borrowing has left many Jamaican financial system exposed to destabilizing shocks. According to the Bank of Jamaica report analyzing macro-prudential indicators from 2013 to 2024, but the weight of this debt isn't just a government problem alone. Over the past decade, household debts has grown far faster than the economy itself.
How you doing, baby?
In 23, what families owed from mortgages to car loans has equaled about 25% of Jamaica's annual economic output. By 2024, the number jumped to nearly 34%, or slightly above $1 trillion.
Wow.
So if the economy was doing well, so many families wouldn't be borrowing up with the macro institutions, you know. So that means, you know, Courtney, very soon, many of these is not us. Many of the banks will not be in a position to lend.
You hear that? Wagwan, baby, last song, what's up, my love? Many of the banks will not be in a position to lend money very, very soon. Me I gonna make you hear that again. Me I gonna make you, because you have to listen to that couple times, you know. It's serious. It's kind of serious.
This administration has made exposed to destabilizing shocks, financial burden after heavy borrowing, and the country is on. I saw a report, Jamaica.
Here we go.
I saw a report.
Thank you for the follow, Tyrika.
Let me read the report to you. Remember, it's a good economic management can and the country is under good economic risk.
We are fiscally prudent and disciplined, ladies and gentlemen. But our economy is not growing and people can't find money to pay their loan back. Let's continue.
Do you remember that argument?
Not my word.
But listen to this, Jamaica. Families and companies shoulder financial burden after heavy borrowing. Here is this. A decade of rising household and corporate borrowing has left many Jamaican financial system exposed to destabilizing shocks. According to the Bank of Jamaica report analyzing macro-prudential indicators from 2013 to 2024, but the weight of this debt isn't just a government problem alone. Over the past decade, household debts has grown far faster than the economy itself. In 2023, what families owed from mortgages to car loans has equaled about 25% of Jamaica's annual economic output. By 2024, the number jumped to nearly 34%, or slightly above $1 trillion. So if the economy was doing well, so many families wouldn't be borrowing up with the macro institutions, you know. So that means, you know, Courtney, very soon, many of these is not us. Many of the banks will not be in a position to lend.
Ball out! Whoa, we need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out from Portland. Take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody, man or woman.
So when I hear these dopey arguments, Jamaica, I cannot sit well with them.
Sad.
Because they argue that the economy is well. So the economy is well, why so many people borrowing? But it's not just the borrowing, the people can't repay. The people are not in a position to repay. That is the substantive reality. If the economy is doing so well, people should have the power and the ability to repay their loans.
Facts. That's just facts. You can't argue that. That's just facts.
Am I telling a lie?
It's the truth. It's just the truth.
So it is evident, Jamaica. It is evident as I speak tonight. From yesterday, the BOJ is giving this indicator. Remember, I said to you, said J and small business might soon be locked down. And it's good intelligence I get. And equally, the interest rates are too high for the people to pay back. The interest rates are too high for the people to pay back.
Lavish,
and government not doing anything to institutionalize lower interest rates for people to be in a position to pay back.
You hear that? Listen to that part there again. At this, Ralston Ironman request the government to do long time. Listen to this.
The interest rates are too high for the people to pay back.
Exactly.
And government not doing anything to institutionalize lower interest rates for people to be in a position to pay back.
Bingo! The government can do it. The government is like, when me tell people say it's like the man who try sabotage the people them, brother. You don't understand what this me mean. Them have the power to lower the interest rate them. For negotiate the man, the bank them for lower the rates them. But they are allowing the banks to keep these high rates and the people of Jamaica suffer. So you see if you don't have your money, you see if you're not rich. This is why them always say that government have to rich people. You see if you're not rich, dog, near no blurt not support this a blurt not government. I swear to God, what else you gonna say? Irish people them alone them thing in favor, brother. Them can, you know, them can hold it more than anybody else in this situation. It is just the truth. The poorer man them never can work with this. That's why people them can't pay them loan back. The money is not coming back in. Over 10 years we are talking about, you know. 10-year period, the last decade them are talking about, you know, it's not just yesterday, the whole last 10 years them are talking about, you know, this report. So what going to happen to people property? Them are going to lose them property? Is that what they actually want to happen? Or are they going to help the people them and facilitate a lower interest rate so they can actually pay back their loan? Because them have the power to do it. So why aren't they doing it? Think. Me have my opinion, you know, but you don't have to think for yourself. You don't have to think for yourself, brother. Let's continue.
And when she done, she tell us, so you must go save the 2,000 figure back robots. You know, so there is a debate with them schedule for she and Patricia Duncan and Dayton and Oriston, and she don't show up at the debate, you know.
So this is about finances. Where is Fayval Williams? There was a debate and she not show up for the debate. Fayval, what go on? Me look on your Instagram and you're not sick. Me see your post and everything good and your Gucci, so how comes you not reach our debate? I just that more know because I say, alright, let me check for Fayval. One if Auntie sick. Auntie Fayval not sick. No do you? Good afternoon, Islin. Wallace, big up. No do you? Birchall, thanks for the follow. No do you? So what go on? Me not understand Auntie Fayval. Remember say we are work for $2,000 pro box them in a man. Right? Oh yes, 3 to 4 years, how we go? We are work on it. Make sure you have them ready for buy, you know. You understand? Now we might take less than that. We'll see. We can check it next month. See him up some money, put up $174,000 forward so we can buy one of them Pro Box there. Oh, you go. But Fayval, anti-Fayval missing B. You can't find her. You don't look good. You don't look good. Anti-Fayval missing.
Don't show up at the debate tonight with Oris Chang. Remember Oris Chang would have backed her, you know, she never show up at the debate tonight. You must get that idea. You must just not be like that. Remember she better. So you say, look if the I want.
Last time I call her Fayval box. Yo, that one they sell off. Fayval missing. Yo, Fayval. Where's she not going to embarrass herself? She's smart, make sure she show up.
Honestly, she never show up tonight. She never showed up. Everybody was looking forward to seeing the finance minister take on petition of Consular, and there is no sign of Fayval. No sign of
Fayval, brother.
No man, but that exercise.
Fayval say, hell no.
Can you say how the information can be? Are sure? Look at them not upload it yet. Later in the show we deal with that.
Alright, so me go through Fayval being missing and why. Me go through the letter for IC, Damian Crawford. Response to Andrew. Where is me for the now? Oh, the Caffe people them. We are question about this is a very important one, to be honest, the last one. I don't know if I last one, but I believe I last one. Yeah. This right here is very important, ladies and gentlemen. See for this. No, that's a political, it's from 1 year ago, another one. Alleged. Oh yeah, I think I like this.
Contemplate lifting curfews in Manchester. And later in sports, Mount Pleasant FA are the first team. There are growing calls for the reinstatement of the office of the political ombudsman, with the latest coming from the Citizen Action for Free and Fair Elections.
I don't know what going with TV news audio, but when you hear that there, it's not my phone, I feel them audio, yeah?
Speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica Tuesday, chairperson Grace Baston says it is not too late to bring back the office. Shamela Pullen reports.
The Office of the Political Ombudsman, once tasked with keeping political parties in check, was disbanded in 2023, a move that's now sparking fresh concerns. Its duties were transferred to the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, but with the general elections expected by September, Chairperson of Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections, Grace Baston, is once again raising red flags about the change.
The people's rights to have standards of decency, principled behavior, high ethical standards in the conduct of our political candidates and their agents. Investigating, adjudicating, mediating, receiving confidential complaints, all of that. This is the business of that office. We, Caffe, from the moment this decision was made, took a stand. You do not transfer those to the ECJ.
Mrs. Baston argues that while the cost was one of the factors given for shutting down the office, the real issue now is a glaring conflict of interest.
Well, I don't think it's beyond us to come up with a
parties in check was disbanded in 2023, a move that's now sparking fresh concerns. Its duties were transferred to the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. But with the general elections expected by September, Chairperson of Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections, Grace Baston, is once again raising red flags about the change.
The people's rights to have standards of decency, principled behavior, high ethical standards in the conduct of our political candidates and their agents.
Investigating, adjudicating, mediating, receiving confidential complaints, all of that.
This is the business of that office. We, Caffe, from the moment this decision was made, took a stand. You do not transfer those to the ECJ.
Want to hear that? The moment the JLP decided in their infinite lack of wisdom to remove the political ombudsman. The entity called Caffe opposed it. And now they're saying it's not too late to reinstate the political ombudsman. Because the political temperature is turning up. You see what happening in Mobile with the mayor taking down Andre Horton posters. And that's going to court now, you know. Yeah, if you guys are reading the articles, that situation is going straight to the court. Because it's that serious. I'll be a foolish system I'm going with. You understand? So let's continue. The political ombudsman being reinstated is probably one of the most important things that needs to be done before the general election, because that is the referee in an election. How can you have a football game without a referee? As a matter of fact, this is what is happening in Jamaica right now. The political ombudsman has been pushed in the ECJ. So imagine you have a football match and the team that is the home team has the referee sitting on their bench. That is what is happening, you know. Andrew Owens of the ECJ in his office of the Prime Minister. You see the conflict of interest? That is not the job of the ECJ to be the ombudsman. It is the job of the ECJ to be the ECJ. The ombudsman is a totally different entity that has other responsibilities that are important to the process of free and fair elections in the country. It's a part of the democratic process, and the JLP has skewed that process. They have blatantly, with the recommendations of not doing it, they have still gone ahead and crippled the democratic process. And it's just the truth. It's just the truth. You understand? Enough people not even understand these things and they not care to understand. They just talk about green and orange and I jump up and I say, yeah. Without educate themselves about what is really going on. You know, say, I'm going to block that person, yeah?
Why you music, you know?
How say that?
Why you music, you know?
I'm soon done, man. I'm soon done. And you don't want a law-abiding country. May I tell you, brother? May I tell you, bro?
Mrs. Baston argues that while the cost was one of the factors given for shutting down the office, the real issue now is a glaring conflict of interest.
Well, I don't think it's beyond us to come up with a way to figure out how to fund that. That the office comes into being now. We can feel the tension, can't we, already, with this campaign. It's hotting up. And silence when there's any kind of misconduct or anything we're worried about. Silence. The ECJ has its hands full. And it has, we know this, political representatives among its members. How do you expect the political representative to be calling out his colleague, calling out his party member and their agents?
Mrs. Baston stressed that despite the closure, it's not too late to bring the office back.
I think it would be a tremendous statement to our people, especially to our young people, about how serious we are as a country about our democracy, our democratic processes, about shedding this perception of corruption and cronyism and this.
Listen, the Jamaica Labour Party is not serious about shedding no perception of corruption. They revel in it. Because if they were interested, Andrew Owens' business partner would not be working in the office of the Prime Minister in two agencies. And his best friend and business partner would not be working in the office of the Prime Minister in two agencies that control real estate contract issuing. What are we talking about?
This is the young people, you ask them about getting involved in this process, they'll tell you, I'm not interested. The two of them are the same thing. I don't vote, don't talk to me. What this would send is a signal that, look here, we took a decision, the people have spoken, civil society has expressed a concern about this. We see that this, and this is a decision we're going to take. What a statement that would be.
Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
I mean, listen, if they actually do that, I'll be surprised. But hopefully the people of Jamaica stand up and demand that to happen, because Y'all, trust me, man. Y'all just don't understand the level of corruption that can happen if we don't stand up against this situation where the political ombudsman is concerned. It's very, very serious, my people. It's very, very serious. What is? Oh, sorry, my bad. Let me see. So, Lord of mercy. So I deal with Miss Archer already. I dealt with Eleta. I dealt with Damian. I dealt with Fayval. And I dealt with the political ombudsman. Let me see if I can find a video that explains what is the role of the political ombudsman in Jamaica.
What is the role of the political ombudsman in Jamaica?
Here we go. Okay, this is good. This is good. Just find something.
We have it here. Just do us a favor.
All right, so this is the JIS, Jamaica Information Service. It doesn't get better than this. Listen.
Call a friend or 2 or 10 and tell them to just join in the conversation, because we want to have as many people as possible tuning in so we can have a lively discussion. Remember to send in your comments and your questions so we can make this a real interactive session. And today we are talking about politics. And I'm sure that word for many people is an automatic turn-off, but that's why we're having the program. In order to change something, we have to change it. And in order to change it, we have to talk about it. And so we're going to be talking about politics. And today we have a person who is one of the best qualified persons to talk about it with us, Ms. Donna Parchment-Brown, the political ombudsman. Thank you so much for joining us and being here today.
Oh, my pleasure, Vaughn. It's good to be with you and your viewers and listeners in this space.
Wonderful. And let's just begin at the beginning. Let's establish for the viewers what exactly is the role of the political ombudsman.
Okay, so the Office of the Political Ombudsman is a commission of Parliament. There are a number of commissions like the Children's Advocate, INDECOM, what was the Integrity Commission, and so on. So it was established under the Political Ombudsman Interim Act of 2002. And just to say, Section 12 of the law really stipulates what the job, what it is, and what we're supposed to do. So, yeah, so I have the law here,
sure.
you know.
Let's try not to get into the legalese, but
not
an idea what it says, what it lays out for us.
No, it belongs to.
Hey, Wiz, big up yourself, you know, baby. Respect, you hear that? Thank you for your continued support. Up.
The people, we need to know where things come from.
To understand and appreciate, right?
Yes. So the ombudsman is tasked to investigate any action taken by a political party, its members, or supporters, where the ombudsman is of the opinion that the action might breach any agreement that exists between the political parties, or if the political ombudsman thinks that the action is likely to prejudice good relations between the supporters of various political parties. And the fact that the matter is before a court does not stop the ombudsman from dealing with it.
Okay.
So we're very optimistic people when we came.
Oh, so that part I didn't know. So the political ombudsman has a certain amount of leverage. Wow, let's play that back. What? No wonder they didn't get rid of them.
Taken by a political party, its members, or supporters, where the ombudsman is of the opinion that the action might breach any agreement that exists between the political parties, or if the political ombudsman thinks that the action is likely to prejudice good relations between the supporters of various political parties. And the fact that the matter is before a court does not stop the ombudsman from dealing with it.
Wow.
So we're very optimistic people when we came up with these ideas. We want the politicians to get on and their supporters to be able to coexist peacefully.
And your role is kind of like a referee, so to speak, in that you try and ensure that they maintain a good acceptable relationship with each other as far as the duties are the actual carrying out of their duties of politics are concerned, essentially.
Right.
So, want to see what I said when I said my analogy? You guys understand my analogy now? That the political ombudsman being in the office of the Prime Minister is like you're at a football game and the team that is the home team in a football match has the referee on their bench. Want to get it now? Because the office of the ECJ and the ombudsman is in the office of the Prime Minister. Do you guys understand my analogy now? Want to get it? It is a conflict of interest, people. We need, but the political ombudsman and you, the people of Jamaica, need to raise voices in concert, like what Andrew only said. and let them know so they want the political ombudsman back before the elections. Because this is very, very dangerous. This is screaming levels of corruption. I'm telling you. Alright? The potential corruption from this situation in the election now go normal. The political ombudsman needs to be back. The political ombudsman doesn't need to be a member of the PNP or the JLP. It needs to be somebody that is non-partisan, meaning them not have no political sides. That's the referee that it basically look out for the interest of the electors. We who go to cast our vote. Right? And that is both JLP, PNP, UIC, independent, whatever. You see me? That's the job of the political ombudsman. They have to be neutral. Thank you so much, Wendy Penna. They have to be neutral. So how the political ombudsman is going to be neutral when they have two persons from PNP and JLP in the office of the ECJ acting as the political ombudsman while in the office of the Prime Minister? How does that work? How does it work? Aren't we going to have quote-unquote stalemates? How far phone that? Rasta your phone that? Eh. No man, that one over there, so. Stammer. I hear phone that. How far phone left there, so? That you know. Hello, Moto. So, let me continue with this was like this interview was 6 years ago, by the way. This is the JIS. Are you phone that? Who phone that? The role of the political ombudsman. Oh, let me show you. So you can watch it on your own time, and because the information is important, you know. See it here. You see it? JIS, the role of the political ombudsman. Check out that. Definitely worth checking out. For the people on YouTube, I'm showing you. Oh crap. See it here? Check that out. Alright? Yeah, the tension is getting higher and higher. We don't want the 1980s to be repeated. You understand what I said? That's why the political ombudsman was even created in the first place. So that's what I said. In their infinite lack of wisdom, they removed the political ombudsman. Or was it done on purpose? You have to really ask these questions because it don't even make no sense, brother. What am I do?
Because the investigations and the reports that are submitted to the leaders of the political parties are intended to say, maybe you messed up when you went here. We've met, we've talked about it. Here's what we think you can do to correct that problem and to avoid it in the future. Because we want the public to have confidence in the officials of state, and we want the country to be properly run. If the people who are in charge of the country are at loggerheads, or otherwise called daggers drawn, then decisions that need to be made for us are going to be delayed, or they're going to be made on a partisan basis, or they won't be carried out as well as they should be. So I'm to help avoid that problem.
You are that voice that or the voice of reason that tries to come through, and you probably, to borrow a thing from one of your previous hats, resolve any disputes.
Exactly.
That might happen. Because for persons who don't know what we're talking, she was formerly the head of the Dispute Resolution Foundation.
I'll take revolution.
Okay, well,
because really, we need a revolution in how we handle disputes and how we interact with each other.
I'm sure not many people would disagree with me when that one's concerned. Now, I understand that one of the documents that helps to guide how you go about your duties and how you help to regulate the relationship between our political parties is the Agreement and Declaration on Political Conduct, otherwise known as the Code of Political Conduct.
Yes.
Can you give me an idea of what that document is and what it tries to accomplish?
I'm so happy to do that. It's a little document, but it has big ideas. This is a document that, after the passing of the Political Ombudsman Act, which was a recognition that we needed an institutional mechanism for dealing with the problems we had, the conversation continued between civil society, communities, and state actors. So on one day in 2005, in Parliament, Parliament was adjourned, and the president of the PNP, the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party,
and other officials signed a document. And that document that they signed really was affirming their belief in the sanctity of human life, being opposed to any wrongful act of violence, denouncing guns and the use of guns and ammunition.
Hey, last time I couldn't say it any better. Them is a disgrace. No joke.
Supporting non-violence, repudiating actions that would create confrontation, create conflict, saying no to statements from political platforms that would incite violence or be slanderous or which would humiliate political actors and their family members. And most of all, although there are a number of other things, most of all, to be against the thing called political tribalism. And if you don't mind, I would just say exactly what they say about that, right? So it's number 7. And to remember that the code of conduct they have agreed to is not for elections. It is for life. 24/7.
General behavior, whether or not there's an election not on the horizon or anything like that.
Right. So we know during election there tends to be an escalation of activity. But we can see too that outside of election time, many issues arise. And the way we handle those issues from a political point of view should take it.
Hey people, you know say Rasta just trigger me meds right now. Here what going on now. We have an advert I did to play from the start, so you know. Remember say 21st of April, Mark Stewart reverse the curse or Bolo 2025. Them they do want Sita.
We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Yes, indeed, it's time to ball out. Jamaica, land of beauty, is in trouble. We got to ball out, reverse the order, back to the sender. And when it comes from, send it back, send it back. Jamaica needs God. It is the 21st of the month of April 2025. It's Easter Monday. Mega Center Breakthrough Portmore, 18 West Tradeway, Portmore Town Center. Come on out, it's gonna be super. Jamaica, we have to reverse the order back to the sender. In Jesus' name, come on out. The song will ring out. Reverse the curse. People will be there. Everyone is coming. Bring your banner, bring your billboard, bring your flyer. Let's grab a time together at Bolo 2025 Easter Monday. We've got Bishop Richard Gardner, we've got Apostle Lawrence, we've got Minister Audi, we've got Apostle Jackson, Apostle Marshall, myself and the Breakthrough. What a time it's going to be. 9:30 in the morning, all day, all night. Yes, indeed. Breakthrough Portmore, the Mega Center comes alive. Easter Monday the 21st at 9:30. All Jamaica, we need Jesus in this.
So people, 21st of April, they don't know, Portmore Mega Center. And at 9:30, so you don't reach 9 a.m. because I don't know, they got church people. Take time to get seated, so 9:30 them are officially a start. You see me? But if you play this from the start, I show still, you know, but not before time. And remember the number for call. Remember the number for call if you don't need any additional information as to how to reach this place. The number is 876-961-0191. That's 876-961-0191 or 876-869-9522. Zin? Yeah. Prophet Mark Stewart. You know what me have to do? Me have to do my part in the car. My name calling on. Call my name in there and say Bolo. Make sure say you, Andre, and Jamaica at topic do the do and make the viewers them know what I go on. So right now, me have go make some whole heap of video. In terms of uploads between now and Monday. I'll make sure so me have this I start in the video so me can remind you about 21st of April at Portmore. Last time you're gonna be there, last time I might have woke up on my mother if I did it. No, more than likely I go see her. Because when you see her, you see me, you know. I know so Andrea go there, so you know it go. So this Monday Yeah, man, this Monday, that at the ball game, you see me? But right now, me I go end it off right there, so people, thanks to you for come through and show massive support, all of the gifters them, all of the people them that hit the like button, all of the people them must share it. Thank you guys so much, I appreciate you. And see you on the next one, man. Alright? The word is love. Peace. I'm out. I'm out. You fly out Sunday, rotted last some. Why we come like me did feel it. Big up yourself still. Be safe and safe travels and everything. Alright? Look more.